where do heroes come from? Are they born? Or are they forged by circumstances of their lives? And where do they go when time flies and memory fades? I'm Dan Foster, and along with my brothers and sisters, probably for different reasons, we remember our dad, Bernie Foster, as our hero. Quietly strong, kind, and forever quiet and humble. He was always there for our family. Whenever we celebrate America, we pay tribute to our nation's heroes, especially the veterans who sacrificed so much in the defense of our freedom. Dad volunteered for duty in the Korean War and served with the decorated 377th Transportation Battalion, carrying supplies at the Incheon invasion and troops to and casualties from some of the most dangerous battles, including the Chosin Reservoir. Dad never talked much about his war, but we know his experience haunted him, especially later in his life. He also never talked about his heroes, but we know that his uncle, Noble Daniel Crosby, heavily influenced his decision to volunteer for service. Uncle Nob died when I was young, but Dad's stories about this quiet, private man led me to want to know more about his service in order to understand his influence on Dad. As I looked deeper, I uncovered incredible details about Uncle Nob's service in the legendary U.S. Army 82nd Airborne 325th Glider Infantry Regiment in World War II, and discovered a war story worthy of a Hollywood movie. Noble Daniel Crosby from Elkhart, Indiana, was drafted in 1942 at age 32 and was inducted into service at Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana. He completed basic training at Fort Claiborne, Louisiana, and soon after, Noble was informed that he would join the 82nd Airborne Division, but not as a paratrooper, but rather as part of the 325th Glider Infantry Regiment. While the Glider Infantry shared the same dangers, they did not receive hazardous duty pay like paratroopers. The glider troops would be carried into action aboard American Waco or British-made Horsa gliders, fabric-covered battle taxis designed to deliver fully equipped troops directly to the combat zone. The Waco CG-4 could carry up to 13 men or an artillery piece or a jeep. And while glider operations offered great potential for success, they were also exceedingly dangerous. A fellow gliderman once commented, "You never knew if the landing would kill you before the Germans did." In April 1943, Noble and the 82nd Airborne shipped to North Africa to prepare for the invasion of Sicily. Despite equipment shortages and the extreme heat of the Sahara Desert, the 325th was ready for their first combat operation, only to be stood down due to bad weather over the landing sites. The glider infantry of the 325th finally arrived in combat, but not by air, rather by sea, as part of the landings at Salerno, Italy in September of 1943. From there, Noble's 2nd Battalion moved north in the rugged Italian landscape and scaled the 4,000-foot summit of Mount St. Angelo's near Naples. Mountain fighting was fierce, and a German counterattack inflicted heavy casualties, especially on Noble's E Company. After the battle, Noble was offered a battlefield commission to lieutenant, but he declined. Instead, he took a promotion to sergeant so he could remain with his company. Shortly after his promotion, the 325th was shipped to Ireland, then England, to begin training for the invasion of Normandy. D-Day was soon to arrive. At 7 a.m. on June 7, 1944, D+1, Crosby's 2nd Battalion E Company flew from New Pottery in England to landing zones near Saint-Mère-Église in France. The 82nd Airborne's objective was to secure key bridges on the Martaret River and protect the precarious American beachheads from German counterattacks. Though all 5 of E Company's gliders were scattered and damaged on landing, Noble's unit held together and fought heroically in some of the fiercest battles of the European theater. After a month of hard fighting without rest or replacements, the 82nd Airborne helped drive the Germans from the Cotentin Peninsula and secured the vital port of Cherbourg. In July, the 82nd returned to England to rest, refit, and prepare for Operation Market Garden, the airborne invasion of Holland. A daring gamble to win the war by Christmas of 1944. On September 23, 1944, the Gliderman of E Company landed to help secure the key bridges at Grave and Nijmegen in Holland. The Germans fiercely defended the area, and the 325th suffered heavy casualties while holding off enemy attacks. Just days later after landing, Noble was taken prisoner during the German counterattack near Groesbeek. He was sent to the infamous POW camp Stalag 3C, far to the east in Brandenburg, Prussia. There he endured the monotonous life of a prisoner until the Russian army broke through German lines and liberated the camp on January 31, 1945. By March, Noble was back home in Elkhart, Indiana, completely surprising his parents when he arrived unannounced. After a short 3-week leave, Noble returned to duty, this time in Florida. His assignment was to train new glidermen for the proposed invasion of Japan. Thankfully, the war ended before he had to return to combat. Noble returned to the family farm in Elkhart, where he lived quietly, worked hard, and cared for his parents. He never spoke of the many battles he was in, nor of the friends he lost in combat. And like so many combat veterans of the greatest generation, he never let on that he was one of America's World War II heroes, decorated for valor with multiple Bronze Star medals. Noble Daniel Crosby passed away in 1966. For us, he was our dad's uncle we never really knew. But we can all remember him now as the Noble Sergeant,